A strong police presence is maintained around the Cape Town ICC as protests were earlier held, and our reporter Mariska Botha is there monitoring the story for us. Mariska, a very good afternoon to you. Do tell us what you're currently observing on the ground, and maybe take us through what actually happened earlier.
Well, about an hour ago, there was 3 young people here from the Cape Youth Collective holding up posters, speaking directly to the issue in Palestine. And we engaged with them, did a short interview with them, and they said they will closely monitor whether or not the issue of Palestine and South Africa's case in the ICJ will remain on the agenda, given that there's now an agreement for a government of national unity between the ANC and the Democratic Alliance. While there were only 3 protesters, they were quite vocal, and we had police officers surrounding them. Of course, this area of the CTICC has been turned into the Parliament precinct. So there are very strict security measures in place, and they were quickly surrounded by a number of police members, telling them that they cannot protest right where we're standing now. There is, however, a designated protest area to my left and your right. I'm going to ask my colleague Josh just to pan a little bit for you to show you the precinct. And they were then removed by the police officers, who told them they cannot protest here. There is a designated area for them. But during their interview, they made it clear to us that they feel threatened. They don't understand why there was such a heavy police presence while there were only 3 people holding up placards. And they were expressively saying they hoping that with this government of national unity, the issue of Palestine will not be diminished by the national government. Of course, South Africa being the first to go to the ICJ to take the matter to one of the highest courts in the world, charging Israel with a number of crimes against humanity and genocide amongst others. And this group say, the Cape Youth Collective, saying that it's vital that despite what goes on behind us here, the election of the various office bearers, that issue remains topical and remain top of mind for the government going forward.
Now, Mariska, we understand at this moment the proceedings are currently suspended pertaining to the vote counting of the speaker there. And of course, we do know that it is the Togo Didiza as well as Veronica Mente who are up for that vote. So maybe give us a background of what else is currently happening around Parliament. We understand that earlier on there was a protest by that group of other parties that were not part of the sitting today. I think they call themselves the progressive political parties that are against currently what is currently happening in the first sitting of Parliament. So what happened around that protest as well? And are you still seeing those members still around the premises of Parliament?
At this point in time, no, we don't see any of them around at the premises. Of course, my colleague Vanessa Puna was on hand this morning when they did protest here. Of course, they feel aggrieved, claiming that there was irregularities with the elections, and that they feel or say that, or they claim that there were a number of votes that should have gone to these different parties that did not go to them. That protest took place this morning, those aggrieved parties all coming together. There's a number of them in that group. I know that the Mkonto Party was one of them, and ARA is one of them, but there's a number of other parties also part of it. But right now, none of those members of those particular political parties are present at the precinct. As I said, the security is very, very tight, because although it is the CTICC, an international convention centre, it has been turned into the Parliament precinct, and with it comes very, very strict security measures. Of course, even us, we only have accreditation to be around the periphery of the premises. So right now, none of those members present here where we are at the moment, but there is a designated protest area to my left and your right, and we will certainly make our way there a little bit later. But besides those 3 Cape Youth Collective members that we saw a little bit earlier voicing very strongly their opinion on the Palestinian issue, we haven't seen any other protests that's taking place at this moment where we are.
All right, thank you so much for that update. SABC News reporter there, Mariska Botha, right outside of the parliamentary precinct.